I'm getting I'm getting way too used to taping this stuff, and I don't know if I like it. Like I said, I get being a little bit chronically online, but I don't know if I enjoy really putting myself out there like this, because this is a personal journey for me. This is a forever thing. That's a part of my daily routine. And I did start to show off to Chantal about how it should be done. But I'm really concerned now, because the way she keeps talking about being too fatigued to even cook and batch cooking, bitch, you don't need to batch cook. You need to move and motivate. And it's like I said, it ain't easy. Trust me, I get trying to make the excuse, but you're not doing any kind of physical activity, and you're expecting some miracle food to help you lose weight. That's not gonna happen, honey. You got to be able to exercise. Trust me, somebody who can show you the visible damage when you don't. The damage of not moving your body. That shit, it adds up. It's not just pounds. It's pain. One of the things that I've seen is Shauna Steele, because he was showing a compilation of those people who got to 6 or 7, for one lady, 100 pounds. It can happen. Once you start making an excuse and not being active at all, those pounds, they come right back whether you eat a lot or not. Because anything you put in your body needs a purpose. And when you eat food and you don't have an active lifestyle at all you're doing is being a storage. It's like a compartment. You fill your face with a ton of food and it has nowhere to go but inside you. If you're active, you're burning. That's the thing that I don't think a lot of people understand. And it's not to be some fitness nut. I know that fitness people will look at me like, how dare she? She doesn't even look like she indulges in fitness. How dare she espouse our stuff? I'm just saying what I've been learning to get myself back to where I need to be. When you put food in, but you don't give it any real outlet, you're storing it. That's why I keep telling you, Chantal, that you got to exercise. And I know, it fucking the pain really does suck at first. It is hard to push your body when you don't want to push your body, especially when you're defiant. But you got to push that body if you want to get any results. You keep thinking that you can copy my life, but you refuse to do the bare minimum thing that you could do to really copy my life. Let me get my playlist fired up, because I'm telling you, you've been good for keeping me motivated. You, the boogie shit, the ALR stuff, all the stuff I've been watching with Shauna Steele, who's been pushing himself to. I think watching other people make excuses keep me from falling into that trap. I'm older now. There are plenty of mornings you get up and you don't want to push yourself. You don't want to deal with pain. But after having a baby, and some of them women have had several babies, so you're telling me you could go through labor pains, but you can't get up and walk pain? You can't breathe through it, honey? That don't make no sense. Pain is your body's way of telling you that you're not doing something right. Whether it's put too much weight on them joints, or just that battles of time sometimes. You need to listen to those. And you need to do less of what you're doing to cause the pain. And you need to push past it. There are plenty of mornings I wake up and think, oh, I don't want to do this routine. And it's only fucking 30 minutes. But I felt the results. After a year, you feel the results when you commit to something. You can commit to those big ass massive plates of food. And trust me, I used to be there myself. You can commit to doing some form of solid physical activity for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Then give yourself a 2-day break, pat on the head, don't binge. Because that's the problem with a lot of people with this mentality. You think, well, I did good. I did good. I deserve. Food shouldn't be a reward. Food is a fuel. Use food to fuel your body. Treats every once in a while if you become healthier with it. But some of us do not have a healthy relationship with food. And that's a problem. You have to really think about it. pause this video because it's a little distracting trying to talk to the camera and listen. The truth is, one of the things that I have learned about myself is while I do have a better relationship with it, I can get into patterns easily, so I'm very careful. I'm with somebody who is super supportive, like extremely supportive of whenever Ting gets an idea or whenever I want to just go at stuff. But you also have to be careful because I'm also very persuasive when I want to get my way. So you have to be able to say, yeah, no, we're not going to do that with people that can justify stuff. And one of the things I see in Chantel is she justifies a lot of her fuck shit. Like a sane amount of her fuck shit is constantly justified in her mind. She thinks it's okay to eat a huge, not prepared by herself salad to maybe reduce the amount of damage she's doing to herself internally. And it's like, no, you already store enough food in your body. You've eaten massive amounts of rice, massive amounts of carbs, massive amounts of greasy foods. Point blank, you have to start burning that energy and not just sitting there hoping that you can burn the energy. You've got to do physical activity. It's hard at first. Nobody's even saying that it wouldn't be hard for you. That's why that struggle walk that you and Salah did on the beach, fucking ridiculous. I don't understand why you would do that. Why you would tape that and how you thought that was going to impress anybody who actually knows what this shit's like. You don't tape the struggle, dummy. You get to a point where people can be proud of you and you start taping that if that's what you're doing this for. Because sadly, that's what she's doing this for. Now for me, I'm doing this out of spite. I do not really want y'all seeing me in this state. It would be way better if I was back at my goal weight showing you this kind of exercise. Because I felt cuter back then too. You know, I hit it once, so I know I can do it again. But it does take effort. And the fact that I'm being even this vulnerable kind of annoys me. But I need Chantal to see that Fat Girl Fitness is possible. That she can do at least what I'm doing at some point if she keeps at it. But she refuses to understand that she keeps making excuses, A, and B, she thinks she's the smartest person in the room. And the problem with people that think like that but ain't willing to really make an actual effort is they still try to find easy buttons. And it's like I told people in the last read I did of her in the Calling Out the Heifer series, you can't easy button this. Even the stomach surgery can only do so much if you're not going to be active, because your body has to do something with what you put in it. So if you're not going to burn it off, you're going to store it. You're going to store it as fat. And at our age, it takes a lot more to burn fat. And that is a reality that I don't think a lot of people like talking about, but it's the truth. Even with a year routine, I've only shed so many pounds because I'm not going for rapid weight loss. Rapid weight loss has always been my enemy because I think, oh, there's no shade in my game. I could just rapid it off. I don't think about the health ramifications. I didn't think about how much I put it right back on when I get it off too quickly, because then I think I don't have to change anything. I can take a few days off. I already lost all the weight. No. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way that rapid results, you can gain it back just as quick as you lose it. So if you're in it forever, which I'm in it forever, this has got to be a part of your routine. And like I said, commit in the 5 days as it is. Finding that time during the day to make sure that I give myself 30 minutes of solid activity has paid off. I feel better. I'm able to do more with myself and my family. And when I finally get back to my cute, curvy, thick size, it is going to be fucking amazing. And I know you're used to the people on here who don't want to show their side, who want to tell you that they're doing this still, and then they don't keep up. I will consistently try to pose at least once a week. something like this. Because I don't want the camera in front of my face every day. I don't think it's fun to struggle in front of a camera. But I do want to counter when Chantel puts out stupid stuff. She's still showing you that she's going to lose the weight with eating. Eating is your problem. When are you going to start really showing some physical activity and stop making excuses? Fatigue happens, honey. You're near 40. It's going to be your best friend, whether you want it to or not, forever. Even without your ovaries. Because at least I know where my fatigue comes from. I get it at least once a month due to menstruation, which I still get. So yeah, fatigue is a thing. I take my iron pills and I keep it pushing. So you can't keep making excuses. Your body is breaking down because you've never really tried to build it up. And because you've never tried to build it up and you don't have the discipline to at least start, you are falling apart internally. And people need to tell you this bluntly. If you're not going to do the upkeep, your palace, as our bodies tend to be, fall apart. And some palaces allow for expansion. As you can see, I have a big chocolate expansion. The big joke at myself. And the whole reason I'm candid about that is because I have. My body has been so many different sizes over the years. It's not even funny. So I know what I'm talking about. And it's not even about being ripped or cut. I could never live that life. Trying to maintain and sustain a fully ripped, cut physique all the time would be way more work than my brain could give it. I liked the size I was at when I started dating Axiom Wolf over 7 years ago. I had gotten slimmed down. I was walking daily. The daily walks I did in Durham were so well known that people, and this is one of the things that irks antisocial people like me, you see a bigger person walking and slimming down. Yeah, it's nice to give them a compliment, but some people, we don't want it. Most of us, we're just looking to get our exercise in and not have you stopping us. But the worst was the people who are like, I want to join you. Let me walk with you. And it's like, I can't speak to other people. I know there are a lot of you extroverts that follow me now, and I know that you probably don't feel the same way. You love to have a walking buddy. I don't. I like having earbuds in most of the time. I have earbuds in now. I like listening to music or podcasts when I'm walking. I'm in my own little world. Sometimes I'm even thinking of creative things. And you know what you can't do when you got a walking partner? Not listen to them jibber jabber about their lives. I have one girl, and she was a nice girl. I'm not going to make fun of her or anything, but she seen me walking every day. She wanted to join me, and I had to hear about her life problems. I became her therapist. I don't like that. I don't like going on my walk and having to intake somebody else's problems. And I noticed that people realize that, oh, she's a good listener. No, bitch, I'm just not talking. It's not that I'm a good listener. I just don't have a choice. You're walking by me, telling me about your romance problems, and then you don't even want to listen to the advice. Which I told at the time, when we were walking together, my advice was simple. Don't go for somebody. Be by yourself for a bit. Take care of your kid. Because that's what I was doing. I was single. I was by myself, and I was content. And I gave off this energy like I knew what I was doing. I did. Every day was a new lesson. But I knew I wasn't ready for a partner at that time. And I told her point blank, stop chasing these dudes because they smell the desperation on you. And trust me, the one time I almost gave in to the desperation, it was a mess. I'm glad that I had the common sense to go, you know what? It ain't worth it. Unless you've almost become some idiot side piece, you don't know what desperation will do to you. But when you finally get to the point of like, you wake up and you're like, I'm good. I don't really need anybody, and I can do this, whether I have somebody or not, because it ain't about that. That's when you give off the energy and you pull in the person, if that's your goal, that you want and need and deserve to be with. Honestly speaking, I think the whole reason why my current relationship has been as successful as it is because I don't sweat him and he doesn't sweat me. It's a good fit. Our personalities don't clash. We have enough similarities, but just enough differences to where we ain't got to be all up in each other's shit all the time. A good relationship is just that. It's balance. But when I was by myself in Durham, the time in the townhouse was just so peaceful until I let my mom back in. Because I did not have to change myself or be anything for anybody. I was just mom. And those days were cherishable. But it was hard because anytime somebody seen me, they were like, she's by herself. Let me insert myself into her life somehow, whether it was the person that wanted to walk with me and use me as a free therapist. The people that would come over uninvited when they found out that I could do things like taxes and other stuff. I was constantly helping people fill out resumes and stuff. I had a lot of side hustles going on because, yeah, I like making extra funds when I can, but it got to be overwhelming. And when my house stopped being a place of solace, I can't wait to get out of it. That is my main problem with my mental health. If something becomes either not sustainable to me or, as I can see in you, Chantel, boring, too boring, or not exciting enough, you start looking for ways to make life a little bit more interesting. And what you're doing is dangerous because you're going the pity me health route. Nobody wants to see that. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about your struggles. I want to see you strive. I want to see you do what I do. Even if what I'm doing on some days might look slower than the average exerciser, it's still 30 minutes of sustained physical activity. And like I said, I can see the results now. And I have severe body dysmorphia. Not in the same vein as you, miss. I think I'm better looking than anybody, because I don't. I definitely don't have that. I've always thought that my brain sees me as huger than I am. For real, I do. I see myself as a constant blob, and it fucking sucks. Because even when I get down to my goal weight, I'm still going to feel like I'm still 500 pounds. And it's my own brain doing that. I don't know why it does that. I can't understand it. It's just the way it works. And so, I know some people might want to get a better insight to how people's brains and minds work when you get to a certain size. And the only thing I can tell you is that it does vary. It's like a spectrum. It's hard to explain to people who don't have mental health issues why some of us utilize food as a comfort, utilize our fat as a protective measure, because it's all different. Some of us do have similar stories though. And that's why I get leery sharing them, because it is more personal, but also because I don't want her, especially, biting it. What happened to me messed me up. That's about the honest I can be about that. I was messed up long ago from things that I had no control over. And that's why I'm such a control freak now. I like my peace. I like cultivating the clean house, the peaceful atmosphere, my books that I can escape in. Because that is way better of an escape to me than food ever was. Food was just a crutch that I used for a quick fix. But it didn't fix anything. All it does is put weight on. And if you're not willing to at least exert yourself in some way, shape, or form, all you're doing is being a fat storage. You have to burn fat. One of the things you learn if you're a home cook is that fat melts down pretty quick with heat. It really is all science. That's why I love science. Science fantasy and science fiction is my wheelhouse. Because the things that I've learned about the human body alone while studying for the next book that I'm writing in the Axiom series, it's just fascinating how much you can correlate what you're writing to what you're living. And the thing about burning fat, especially burning calories, is it really is a natural chemical process. A biological chemical process, but still a natural chemical process. You put in, and it's got to go somewhere. Sometimes it gets split up in the waist. If you're lucky, if you don't fuck up your kidneys like Chantal's doing, and your liver, like she's already did, you have organs that are going to help separate what you put into you and turn it into waste and get it out of you. All the toxins and pollutants normally. But if you keep overindulging in bad stuff, your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. So we just pack this here? They keep putting it in us, so apparently they want us to keep it. I'm telling you, that's how your brain works. You keep shoveling that bad shit into you, and eventually your body's going to think, well, I'm just going to have to adjust to keep this in this. This is what they want. It's crazy that people never put that correlation together. That we legitimately train our bodies for the way we want our bodies to take things. And eventually, you can abuse and overstuff. Just like an apartment, just like a house, with too much crap, and it looks bad. That is the best analogy that I can give to anybody trying to figure out the patterns for people with either obsessive eating or the way we let our bodies go. It really is simple. Fat burns. It is, like she tries to say, a fuel. But like any fuel, it can get stagnant and it can erode your insides if you don't burn it off. I'm hoping you watch these, Chantal, not because I like you, because I've made it clear I do not like you. I do not like anything about you because you're a fraud. When you come correct with your rage, it is fun to watch from time to time, but you do not stand by anything you say. So I cannot trust anything that comes out of your big mouth. So yeah, you and I could never be on the same page. I do not ever see myself ever aligning with you, but I do see where you're struggling. And I see you're struggling to even get motivated to move more. Because it does suck the first few times. I'm going to even be straight with you. It'll probably take you a good month to get even 10 minutes. Because you can't even do 5 without taking several walk breaks. Without taking breath breaks, as you call them. But you can get to 30 minutes of sustained activity if you really want to. I've seen you dancing around. I've seen you prancing around your old apartment in Canada. So we know that you have physical capabilities. We've seen you waddling around Thailand, and you were probably miserable as fuck. But if you had kept at it, even the walk you did in the airport, if you did something that sustained for a week's time, yeah, you might feel pain at first, but you'll start feeling the difference. You have to build up. I'm telling you right now, as somebody who has gone from waddle to walking to waddle again, back to walking, it's a process. And the moment you start making excuses and going in with the I can't, that's it. Giving up is giving up. And giving up can be death sentence. And you really need to hear that from somebody who knows. Because you won't take that advice from somebody too skinny, because then they're fat shaming you. Apparently, even my fat ass is not allowed to give you advice, because what are you doing? Bitch, I'm showing you. You've shown me nothing but eating. Nothing but mukbangs. And I keep telling you, I don't give a fuck about what you eat unless you try to fool everybody and say you cooked it. Because I love watching you struggle, chef. And I love pointing out when you use frozen products and try to act like you've cooked them yourself from scratch. There's no shame to the cook game, especially when you're cooking for little ones. But if you're gonna lie, I like pointing out the lie. But I just don't understand why you don't think this is possible. That's why I told you, get a bike. People always think, oh, it's good exercise. How are you getting stuff done? It's still energy she's burning off. And if she's smart, she ain't eating. Because that's a big problem for you, Chantal. Every time I see you, you're putting food in your face. Maybe do something like this for a bit. Get yourself a recumbent, or if you can't get a recumbent bike in Saudi Arabia, which I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to, get on the bike in your gym and start hoofing it. Because I'm telling you, it really is a good build-up to where you'll be able to walk. You start riding, and then you walk. Get a pool. Get those water aerobic exercises. Because I'm telling you, you don't even feel it in the water. It is one of the best places to get Bad Girl Fitness done. But too many girls don't think that it's possible for them to do it. I just don't know. I don't understand that idea that you just can't because your body is allegedly breaking down. You're still here, aren't you? And if you give it a solid try, it really does pay off. But too many of you, you're like, well, I'm not getting the results fast enough. I'm not looking the way I want quick enough. And you shouldn't be doing this for looks. You are literally in repair mode for your body. That's the best way I can put it. Exercise for you isn't about looking better. I know we've all used that, slimming down, being sexy. It really is a repair mode for you at this point. Because you are in the internal danger zone. And if you don't start making some real lifestyle changes, we might as well kiss your butt goodbye. And I know it's hard for people to hear. It really is, because you don't want to think on that level. If you don't start thinking on that level, you're not going to be here to think. Point blank. And it's too bad that too many people don't get to hear this bluntness sooner than later. And it's too bad people don't get to watch somebody literally go through this and get the weight off of their body yet again. And this is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be the last time I ever make any lame-ass excuses to not stay on task, because I see what happens when I slip up just a little bit. And it's like I said, stomach surgery doesn't change a fucking thing. If you are not burning what you put in yourself, even eating less of it doesn't stop that. Yeah, just because you can eat a far ton less of bad foods doesn't mean good foods can't make storage too. Veggies in large quantities still have to go somewhere. So if you're shoveling a big ass salad in your face, but you're not walking it off, you're just storing more fat. And a lot of people won't tell you that, because they're like, oh, most people who want to diet don't want to exercise, and vice versa. No, most smart people have the balance. Yeah, there are always those people in the extremes of both spectrums. And like I said, I am not trying to get cut, ripped, or any of that stuff. Building up my arms and stuff is just for my own thing. I don't really care to look a certain way. I just want to get slim enough to where going places doesn't feel like a chore. I want to get back into my cute jeans. There are things that I am looking forward to add to that I used to be able to do at 2. And 2 is my perfect size, because I'm just curvy enough to feel safe, but I'm slim enough to be able to run if I need to run again. So yeah, that is the main goal, Chantel. It isn't about making you a skinny mini. We're not trying to turn you into that one girl that I don't even like looking at her. She makes me sad. She is the complete opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to this debate. And there's just too many extreme mental health issues for me to even try to wade into in this crazy YouTube landscape. So yeah, you became my main focus because I see where you're making excuses. But if you're going to bother a doctor, if you're going to bother to go to a healthcare physician and not really take this shit seriously, why are you wasting everybody's time? Why are you wasting our time if you're not going to do what you need to do for your own life and health? What are we supposed to do, and how are we supposed to feel when you're not doing the right thing? I legit have to be a little bit sociopathic with this, because honestly, there are way too many people trying to give you sympathy. One of the things I seen was that Repsion video, and I said it in FFG's chat last night, and I mean it. I am not impressed by those who take our own stories and want to give sympathy to somebody for just recognizing they have a problem. If you followed her, Repsion, you would know that Chantal has addressed this problem several times. That's why I love the archives, because no matter how many times you dirty delete it, we already seen in your own words that you acknowledge your issue with diabetes long ago, before you even got to Kuwait. So this, oh, I'm going to support her because she's recognizing the problem. No, her body's finally in possible shutdown mode. So she ain't got a choice but to recognize the problem. It's just like, as somebody who has lost relatives to this because they didn't take it seriously, as somebody whose body has constantly been pushed towards high extremes myself, you've got to be careful with eventually rolling them bones, as I call it. It's not a good thing to play around, and you'll lose that game of fuck around and find out if you let it. One of the things that I just want to say to anybody thinking that you have to give Chantel sympathy, I'm not asking you to give her scorn. I do that enough on my own. I don't like her. Hand to God, can't stand her. But I'm asking you to mitigate your giving her pity with giving her the sound advice. Even if she blocks you, eventually she's going to realize that she can't get the engagement of, oh, there, way to go, acknowledging your problem. No, it's past the stage of a pat her on the head for acknowledging the problem. She's been new to the problem. If you care about her well-being, you need to stay on her ass to do the right thing. And what she needs to do right now is to stop trying to mukbang and figuring out how to get coins from mukbangs and start really putting in an effort. Yeah, the views will be lower. Yeah, you won't get as much praise and dedication at first. But I think she'd be surprised, even as hated as she is, because she's hated, trust me. I don't like the bitch, and I just started to get into her shit. But she would be surprised how many people will legitimately come around and champion for her, because nobody wants to see you fucking die. I'm just real enough to say if it happens, but I'm not wishing for it. I'm not fucking ghoul or a jackal. I just think that when you put yourself in a position where you're literally slowly unaliving yourself in a way that's very preventable, what can I do? I don't get in the middle of somebody's vices normally because I don't know what they're going through. But you have documented everything you've allegedly gone through and what you put yourself into. And all of your problems are legitimately self-inflicted. So if you want to stop having said problems, you need to get help. And it does take more than just diet and exercise. You have to work on the mental health issues, because we all at this point can see where you're failing mentally. And you're so key to prove to us that you're in this great relationship with Salah and that we just don't understand and we don't care. There's a difference between understanding and just not giving a fuck, Chantel. We're not your friends. We're not your therapist. We're just people on YouTube watching their horror as you still try to convince us that anything in your life is normal when we know it's not. Now, like I said, and I'll keep saying as I wrap this up and go get cleaned up and stuff, we know this is your fantasy, honey. We ain't got to indulge in it. That's the reality of this situation. You want us to believe that Salah loves you, even though during something that was a deep personal revelation, he couldn't even be by your side. Hi, honey. Even my cat, my sweet baby, is more by my side than your man. Come on now. I don't know who you're trying to prove it to. And it's like you said, because I know you were watching the video, it isn't about looks. I know you were trying to take a ding, but I told you and I mean it. I've never been a bitch about my looks. I've been a bitch about results. And I get results because I'm a real one. You don't got to be what people call conventionally pretty. I don't want to be conventionally pretty. I don't need that in my life. I never needed that validation. That's the difference between you and I. You're out there calling yourself Foodie Beauty. I name myself after a fight style. Look at what Kalari means. And then get back to me, stupid. I think it's hilarious that you seem to think that we can be the same. We can't. You're about food. I'm about fighting. We're not the same beast. Trust me on it. The only thing we currently got in common, allegedly from you, is body size. And I don't think so, Heifer. You could definitely not do what I do in a day. Point blank, period. So until you're ready to really get on my level, write that book, Chantel, I'm waiting. Or shut up. Because I don't have no pity for you. You could do this. There's no reason for you not to do this, but you refuse, and there's a difference. Pain is going to happen. Learn to push past the pain, because the more you work that body, the less pain you have. That's the best advice I can give you. I will be back soon. Why are you nodding? They can't see you. I don't got the camera on you. Hey, there you go. But other than that, I am going to wrap it up, go make some lunch, go make some cookies. It's a cookie baking day, so I'm excited about that. Other than that, I'll be back soon.